Welcome to Lesson 2 of 2 in this tutorial, covering changes of state. This is the second video in our series of 2 lessons on the topic changes of state. Here are the key learning objectives for this lesson. The first is to look at conserving mass, and then we will look at evaporation and boiling. Here are the AQA specification points on this section. Feel free to pause the video now and have a quick read through them before we begin. We'll start off by looking at defining changes of state. We will come across 2 types of changes in substances: physical changes and chemical changes. Physical changes are reversible, but chemical changes are irreversible. When substances change from one state to another, they are undergoing physical changes. The particles making up the substance will be the same, but the arrangement and energy will be different. Now, we'll look at conservation of mass. When states change, the amount and therefore the number of particles will stay the same, meaning that mass will be conserved. As we've just seen, only the energy and arrangement of particles will be altered. When a substance changes state, it will also change its properties. For example, when water goes from a liquid to a solid, the ice will not be able to take on the shape of the container. However, when ice turns back into water, it will be able to take on the shape of the container. This diagram shows the state changes between solids, liquids, and gases. For AQA exams, you will need to know the names of the changes between each state, including melting, freezing, evaporation, condensation, and sublimation. It's really important you remember, when a substance changes state, the number of particles do not change. Only the energy and the arrangement of particles will change. Evaporating and boiling will both lead to a change from a liquid to a gas. Evaporation can happen at any temperature. For example, if you left a water beaker at room temperature overnight, the volume would drop as some of the water will evaporate. Similarly, our sweat will evaporate at room temperature, changing from liquid on the surface of our skin to water vapour in the air. Boiling can only happen at the boiling point. The boiling point will vary for each substance. For example, water has a boiling point of 100 degrees Celsius, whereas ethanol has a boiling point of 78 degrees Celsius. Evaporation can often happen without us noticing. It is much slower than boiling. Boiling involves a heat source and often bubbles are seen. It's much faster to boil a liquid into a gas compared to evaporating it. We've now covered both the specification points for this tutorial. Feel free to skip back through the video to re-watch anything you feel unsure about. We've now completed Lesson 2.